Yeah, so Sarah, we just had a connection on, just ideas, right?
Right.
Kind of like a coaching, here's some ideas, and did a lot of exploration. You want to maybe share just a little bit about just your passion with, what you do with photography and
I've always been passionate about photography and art, and it's always been in my family. Finally, I had the opportunity to do a course and I'm loving it, and I want to do something with it. I don't just want to take nice photos. I want to do something with it. I had no idea what to do. We spoke about this a while back, and you gave me some ideas, and it took me a while. I'm a bit of I tend to take a lot of time to think about things. And then a couple of ideas were seeded, and from there I've really taken off. I'm still on the ground though. I mean, when I say taken off, it's just still taxiing on the runway, but I think it's getting there, and the more I talk to you, the more ideas I get. You're great, Scott, for doing that. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, today we talked about some ideas that just kind of just emerged, and you're doing some postcards and you're doing some things already, but how fascinating is it with some of the new ideas that we talked about today?
Yes, so I was given the idea for postcards, not necessarily postcards you put through the post, although they can go through the post legally, but these are just flat cards with inspirational words on them, quotes, my own, because I don't want to take anyone else's. And I've actually had some really good responses to that. People have become quite emotional when I've handed them cards, and they've said that the words have spoken to them. And to me that's important. To use my images to bring peace and healing to people, I think is really important. Yeah.
That's great. So how have you benefited from coaching, and how do you, even today, how have you benefited from coaching?
Well, really it's helping me to put my goals into steps, and to actually think about, because in my own mind I know what I want. That's up there though. How to get from here to there is for me a little bit difficult. So through the coaching I've been able to put some steps into process, think through ways of getting there. Really, I think that's the most important thing to me. And also you've given me some other ideas which I've been able to put in there as well. And sometimes I need time to think about them, but whereas before it was like, there's the goal, but I don't really know how to get there. Now it's like, okay, step one, I can do this, and then this, and then this, and then this. So that's how it's helped me, really, in a very practical way.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. So you've gone to some of our conferences before too, hey?
Yep.
Yes. You went to a conference called the Life Plan Intensive, and the goal of that is to help you create an inspiring roadmap for your future.
Yes.
The idea certainly were to spur some new thoughts.
Yes.
About clarity and purpose and values, and
that's
how that
right.
ties into where you're going.
Yep.
Yeah, and Greg and I led that one. Can you share a little bit about your experience with that workshop?
Yes. Again, actually, I love the way you and Greg work together. I love manuals, and I loved your manual. I loved the way you took us through the manual. Again, very practical, very inspiring. I just, you come out at the end of the day and you think, yeah, it's possible. It's really possible. I can do this, where I didn't quite have that confidence before that. So that to me was really important, and I enjoyed the day. I liked the way you just took us through it. I think you had it very nicely paced. It was interesting. It was it was just very inspiring and clear. It was really clear, I think, was good for me, yeah. And it was nice to hear other people's experiences too. You know, you're in a room full of other people who are also on their own journeys, and sometimes somebody will say something and you'll go, oh, hadn't thought of that, you know. So yeah, it's great.
Oh, that's wonderful. Hey, so, you know, just even on Greg, just a little bit, you know, what would you say about Greg and just who he is, what his styles are? You know, you've heard him speak not just at that, but at other events and things too. Well, what could you share with other people that haven't heard Greg?
I've always loved Greg as a speaker. I think he's amazing. I think he has the ability to really, he has insights, really deep insights. I think that he can draw out things and put them into a practical way that's accessible to everybody. I don't know, I think he really thinks in depth. He's a very deep thinker, and he just is able to, I don't quite know how to explain it. He's very good at drawing things out of the depth of a well, for example, and making it available to everybody in a very practical, very step-by-step way.
That's amazing. Yeah. And you know, you've taken an extra step. And you decided, you know, that you're going to be an ambassador, and you've led a couple events.
Yes,
and,
yeah.
You know, there's some real fruit, like tangible fruit that's happened, you know, with kids actually having hope. And you're big on hope.
I am big on hope, yes.
Yeah, so I guess in two parts, could you respond to what leads you to want to give back to an organization like Homes of Hope and what they're about? And then what your personal experience has been just with working with Greg on a project like what you've done.
Look, I love Homes of Hope International. I think it's, you know, it works specifically with, I mean, it's got the orphans, the side of it, which I love. But I also love the fact that Homes of Hope deals with victims of sex trafficking. And widows, and not just that they, you know, you're paying for them to live and survive. They also train them. You know, how many other charities do I think what Homes of Hope International does? So they train them, they give them training, they're given ways of making a future for themselves. You know, getting them back out there. Into life with a better future, with hope of a better future, and I love that. I just think that's priceless. To me, it doesn't matter how small a charity is, because you know we've all. The usual thing is that people think, oh, it's only me, what difference am I going to make? And I mean, if everybody said that, nothing would ever happen. And Greg has started a charity that is helping so many women, children, widows survive, not just survive, but thrive. And you know, isn't everybody important? Everybody is special, everybody is precious, every soul on this earth, and to be able to help people to get back out into life, but you know, with help, that to me is fantastic, and I love the idea of hope, because without it, where would we be? You know, I think everybody needs hope. It keeps us looking forward, and that's one of the quotes on one of my cards is hope keeps us looking ahead.
Wow.
Because without it we wouldn't be, you know, and I know that there are a lot of people on this earth without hope. And if I can bring hope to even one person, well, I hope I'd be able to bring hope to many, many more. But, you know, through Homes of Hope International, a lot of those kids they have hope and they're looking ahead. You know, they've got a future. They've got a future they can work towards now. And that to me is absolutely priceless. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. So, and out of the events, there's been a lot of sponsored children as well, and widows that have been sponsored too.
Yes, I'm because I work in a very secular sort of environment. I love putting on the events. I've done several for Hoey, and I've done more through Grace Point, but I've done lots of them, and I really enjoy putting things together. But I've also been able to say to my colleagues, hey, this is a great charity, come along and this is what they do, come along and have a listen. And I've been amazed at people who have just said, well, I'll come along, I probably won't, give anything, but then they've ended up sponsoring a widow or something, and I like that. Greg is he's an excellent speaker as well at these events. He tells it like it is. He doesn't mince words. He said this is what would have been the future of this girl, this child, this woman, this widow, but now it's this and this, and I think people just go, wow, yeah, I'll give to that. Yeah. So I think the events are important because you can invite anybody, to all manner of people. Yeah.
Wow, that's good. Amazing. And you went to Life Language Workshop as well with myself and with Nicole.
I did, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. It's always interesting finding out something about yourself that you think, okay, that's why I respond this way. That's why I feel like this, or that's why when I get with somebody else, I respond in that way. So it's very, very interesting finding out where you are and who you are. Really, it's about your identity. It's about who you are. So I love that. And again, that was you and Nicole, of course, husband and wife. You work very well together. You know each other very well, I suppose. So you sort of it comes across. That was fascinating. That was absolutely fascinating. And, while I was listening, I remember thinking, so and so's like that. Okay, that's, it's really, you start putting the pieces of the puzzle together. But for me personally, on a personal level, I thought that was very, very interesting. And yes, it does help to know who you are. And I've had to go back to the report a few times just to sort of see, read it again and, take it in.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for just taking an opportunity to share some of these great insights.
Yeah, well, thank you, because without your abundance coaching and without all, the life languages, and I wouldn't have come across any of this either. And sometimes you just need help to be pushed along. You can stay where you are for an awfully. I felt stuck for many years actually, and with working full time and so forth, I didn't feel like I had enough energy really to push myself along. And like I said earlier, I'm a bit slow to get going, but I feel like since I've come across you and abundance coaching and all of this, it's been like a little bit of a push. And then with each thing I do, it's like another push. It's given me food for thought, sowed some seeds, and it's all starting to unravel, but unravel in a good way. It's all starting to come out and pan out nicely, I hope.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. So thank you again so much.
Thank you.